I'm EDIE LUSH here at the Hub Culture Pavilion in Copenhagen, and I'm delighted to be joined by Oliver RAPF. Hope I got that right. He's the head of the Climate Business Engagement Unit at WWF, and WWF, as everybody knows, is one of the big stakeholders here at the Climate Change Summit in Copenhagen. And you're leading a group of business leaders, so I wonder if you could tell me what you're hoping to see coming from Copenhagen and what it means for you.
Well, we brought the business leaders here and the Climate Savers business partners here because we want to set a counterpoint to the normally negative lobbying from businesses. When you listen to what trade associations say, what international business associations say on climate change issues and on the Copenhagen negotiations, they're normally making an effort to water down the negotiations. They lobby for weaker targets, they lobby for less regulation. In the Climate Savers program, through working with the companies, we're demonstrating that a company can reduce emissions while growing its business. So all those companies are improving their bottom line, and they're demonstrating success stories, and they're demonstrating case studies and innovations which are really good for business. So they're basically saying, well, we can have very tough climate change targets and still do an excellent business. And that's the message we want to bring here to the climate negotiations.
So in terms of some of the partners, we spoke with Sony just a minute ago. Tell me some of the other companies that you're leading here, and tell me a little bit about their experience of reducing their emissions. Has it been easy? Has it been hard?
Well, our partner companies come from a variety of sectors. So for example, we have Hewlett-Packard in the program, we have Lafarge, the world's largest cement company in the program, we have Tetra Pak in the program, you mentioned Sony already. So we're basically demonstrating that you can reduce in all kinds of industry sectors. It's not just limited to one. And one of the most successful stories, for example, for me is the story of Hewlett-Packard. We have an agreement with Hewlett-Packard that the company does not just only reduce its direct emissions, the emissions coming from running offices or producing something, but also the emissions which are caused when a Hewlett-Packard product is used. So just imagine an HP printer. That product causes CO2 emissions because it uses electricity, and you can measure that, and the company has given us a commitment to reduce this over time, right? And that's quite an exciting story. Another exciting story is Lafarge. World's biggest cement manufacturer. They have made a commitment to reduce their emissions by 10% absolutely. Now, the main challenge here is to bring that message, that decision from the headquarters down to the plant level, because the plant managers run the factories. They have a direct impact on how much CO2 emissions are caused and how much energy that plant is using. So they have developed a software which basically allows plant managers to compare their plant performance with any other Lafarge plant in the world. So it's really, the company has generated or has created an internal competition between plant managers who is the best in reducing CO2 emissions, and that's quite interesting. When we start talking with the company, when we start the negotiations, we know and we were very clear from the very beginning that it's going to be a long and intensive process, because we are bringing in external consultants, independent technical experts, who basically analyze the carbon footprint of the company first of all, and then they make recommendations where the company could cut emissions. Normally the companies are then setting a target based on that analysis, and often because it's the first time for them, they're rather cautious. So it's really a negotiation process between us, WWF as a change agent, and the company as a back and forth, and normally the first set of targets, the first commitment is a consensus in the middle. What we have realized over time is that most companies, once they've started to look at this issue in a serious way, they find more solutions than they expected.
It's very interesting. And tell me, just in terms of if you were going to take a step back and you were able to give a message to the leaders in the Bella Center, in terms of what, from the business perspective, what would be the one thing you would tell them?
I think I would tell them that they should listen to the progressive companies and not just to the naysayers. Because all these companies are saying, well, we have a business case for taking climate change action. We know we can reduce our emissions absolutely and still grow our business. And we can decouple the business growth from the emission growth. And that's the sustainable business model of the future. So what we need is a 21st century business model which is aligned with the challenge of climate change.
Thank you very much, Oliver Rapp from WWF, for joining us here at the Hub Culture Pavilion in Copenhagen, and I'm EDIE LUSH.